And welcome to the Manchester Culture Bunker with me, Terry Christian. Very special guests today from a band who were all young lads. They were basically still doing their 11 plus when they formed back in 1989. Born in the fire, forged in the very fire itself at the height of Madchester. The band I'm talking about are Northside. And today, my guest is their special main man himself, Warren Dermody, a.k.a. Dermo.
Nice one, Terry.
Nice.
Not many people know my real name.
Warren Dermody. Yeah. But that's the thing, you know, so all you lads, you had Walshes in the band, didn't you? Was it Muzzer, Morley was involved?
Two Walshes, not brothers, and Oja and me.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is Irish lads.
Yeah. Well, two Oz. I'm not sure about the other Walsh. Well, he must have been.
Yeah, what Walsh is an Irish surname.
Oja was, I'm sure he said it was not French, but that way, around there somewhere, Cliff, you know what I mean? His dad was from that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, my old fella, no, that was typical.
Oh, and was your manager Muzzer?
Mako.
Oh, right, I'm getting him mixed up with Muzzer.
Yeah, Muzzer's another pal of mine, yeah.
Yeah, because he's Irish descent as well.
Yeah.
Catholic. So were you all Catholic boys back in the day? There you go. Guilty of a lot of sins.
Before he was even born.
Yes. So, I mean, going back to the start, I remember when Northside first came through, it was like, there was a lot of like bitching about the fact you'd only been around for 2 minutes and you were suddenly on the telly, signed by Factory Records, who really hadn't signed anybody to do with Madchester at that time when they signed you, you know, as the young lads. They talked that game, but not actually produced anything.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Who spotted you?
What do you mean?
Well, who spotted you as Northside from Factory?
Probably Phil Sachs. He was
their A&R man.
Yeah, he was a pal of where Macca used to manage us. He was in my year in school. Macca. He was our manager. He was pals with Phil. And, you know, it went from there, sort of like...
I mean, it was strange, wasn't it? Because you were featured in the documentary Madchester, the Sound of the North.
Yeah.
You know, along with MC Tunes in Spiral Carpets. You know, a guy called Gerald. You know, they gave the Stone Roses a mention in it, but they wouldn't speak to anyone at the time. And so there you were, and that was fantastic exposure for you.
Of course it was, yeah, but it's a long time ago.
Yeah. What was it like though at the time? You know, because you will have been, you know,
we were just being us,
around your way. So suddenly everyone's seeing you on the telly.
Yeah, we were just us being us, like I say. We was all music heads, loved music, came together. Cliff started the band really. I used to live in the flats in Blakely and Skelton Court, and Cliff came round. He was a friend of my brother's. He was like 4 years younger. I never knew I wanted to be in a band. I just liked music was my life, you know what I mean? I used to see punk bands and all that, GBH, all these kind of bands at the time, even though I was into New Order and stuff. And I remember Cliff came round and he had his bass with him. And he was that shy. He just put his jumper over. I said, play us a tune, because he had his bass with, you know what I mean? And he put his jumper over his head because he was that shy. And he started playing down, Trip.
Yeah.
And he pretty much had the tune there straight away. And I went, that's fucking ace, that. For some reason, it clicked something in my head, and I just went away, went bang, 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 wrote lyrics. And that was the beginning of it, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, shall we take a trip? Because it was a great opening line. And
you know what it was, though? It was all sarcasm on my behalf. It was like, as daft as it sounds, Lennon had done what was it called, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and the equivalent was ACID. I was just playing with words, wordplay with me. Answers come in dreams. No one got on it for years, that it was acid. You know what I mean? Shall we take a trip is, shall we have some acid?
Yeah.
And then it's down memory lane was just the next line that came with it. Everything in that song is just lyrics that sort of made sense about tripping, really. You know what I mean? Like in a wordplay kind of way. It was poetic.
Wordplay by saying LSD.
Well, that's obvious.
Like
I was saying, here we go, hello, and all that. But at the same time, I was saying, have a bit of brain, look into it. Look, you know what I mean? Besides the obvious, get inside it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
And I mean, your album, was it 91 when it came out, Chicken Rhythms? And it came out almost in the midst of a massive backlash of hostility towards...
It was just before all that.
Manchester bands. It was like, you know, give them a chance.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like you say, we was only kids and we just put this album out. And then all this Nirvana tackle kicked in. But we were just doing what we was doing at the time, right? We thought, we didn't really, how do I put it?
You didn't have any expectations?
No, we were just making music, Terry. We were just playing. And we didn't see the big picture at the time. Well, I didn't anyway. I just thought, we're living in the moment. You know what I mean?
But well, in some way, there wasn't a big picture. It was just that in London, it felt like they were losing control. They were fed up with bands coming out of Manchester. So suddenly,
we never thought about London. London didn't matter to us. You know,
we were just writing. Manchester, they just hated at the time.
Well, they always have, haven't they? They always will. But that's why we buzz. That's why we do what we do half the time. What I mean is, we was just being us, and the thought of what's coming next and all that didn't enter my head. Or that's me personally. You know what I mean? I was just writing music at the time. We already had started writing the second album by the time that came out, you know what I mean? So I was just...
I mean, that first album, if you think about it, there's some quite strong, strong songs on it. Who's to Blame?
Lyrically, yeah.
Moody Places.
Yeah.
And, don't forget, you're only, 19, 20?
Yeah.
Doing all that.
Yeah.
So it had that edge. It was about something. It had that punky thing.
Yeah, well, I was always been into that, especially... lyric-wise, because when I was a kid growing up and stuff, I was banging to Crass and Conflict and bands like that who really had something to say. That's why I'm not into politics these days and stuff. Only because, like my old fella used to say, politics and religion. You know what I mean? Hard work.
War was the other one.
Yeah.
Stay away from that.
Well, yeah.
Which I might do now with the way United are
I know, but we still love them, don't we? Is what I'm trying to say. No, but yes, you can't, but I'm going to anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, I don't know. Fucking love.
But when you did that tour, when you did your first big tour in 1990, going into 91, for like Chicken Rhythms and all of that, what was that like? Because it was quite a young vibe, wasn't it? That
you know what it was? It was all our mate
with it.
For me.
Or did they follow you everywhere in the country?
They came with us everywhere. That was the best part about it for me, because I was like a punk as a kid, and I wanted everyone to feel like me. All my mates, you know what I mean? I did. And I wanted them to come everywhere, and they did. And it sounds really, I don't know. This is the truth, though, you know what I mean? It was like, and I was just a music head. And I was just starting doing what I was doing, and I wanted everyone to feel the same way as me. Our kid had just died, my best mate had just died. We was going through loads of shit in my head that I cancelled, you know what I mean? I had to. Things happened, you know what I mean? So, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, well, but I mean, again, it's like they always say that great art comes out of trauma, don't they? Yeah. Which sometimes you think, well, maybe I'd swap the art for none of the trauma.
Yeah, exactly that.
But again, with Northside, at the time you had like factory records of going great guns, and then suddenly they got no money because the Happy Mondays to spend it all, and that kind of destroyed what was going to be your second album.
Yeah, we've done demos for it. We've done, like Sweet 16 with Rex Sargent, he's passed, he's gone as well, you know what I mean? It's like, everyone is involved with us. But, yeah, so we got like 10 songs, but Factory that collapsed at the time, you know what I mean? It was, what we should have done was just took some time out and,
got another record deal.
We'll just get out of the way for a bit and come back stronger with the right edge, you know what I mean? But like, everything was going on all the time. There was always something, you know what I mean? You never got time to take it in properly, what it was for me. It was always all the time. So, like I say, we was only kids, and if we'd have had time to fucking just get out of the way for a bit, get your head together and come back strong, we would have done, and we should have done.
Yeah, because there was that, it all came again, didn't it, for bands like the Charlatans, everyone else who'd been kind of, scorned out after one band, because, the second album wasn't that great, but they all came back for Britpop. I mean, you were still so young at the time.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird. You had kind of been slagged off, by all the kind of national music press and people like that who were just slagging anything from Manchester off at the time.
That's what happened, innit? It's just like, I don't know.
I mean, what happened because obviously after Northside, you then formed another band, didn't you?
Not really. It was just me. I'm just into music, Terry. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. And I just thought, this is ended too soon. We can't, as it is the way it is, we can't do that because for whatever reason, the labels collapsed, everyone's on one and doing their own thing. So I just wanted to keep making music and writing songs, which I've always done, still doing. So I just wanted to keep doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it was great, to hear. I remember, was it Shall We Take a Trip used for the football?
That was ace.
No, but those are quite big things, aren't they? Of course, because then it becomes
well, they use that in Moody Places, the instrumentals without me on it. Fair enough. Well, that's what I'm saying is that was brilliant. That was Wilson, though.
Yeah,
Wilson knew the score, didn't he? He knew how it should be, and he put it on there, which was great. Of course, it was. You know what I mean? I loved it. 2 years we was on that.
Yeah, for ground of football.
Yeah.
But I mean, and again, did it not turn up on FIFA and all that? Was it not used in the
you know what I mean?
games?
I don't know.
That's where you need to get it on now, isn't it? That's what they're excited.
Probably, yeah. That's what
they're not excited about getting on Top of the Pops anymore. It's can I get my song on the next edition of FIFA?
You just reminded me of Top of the Pops there. We was like the first band to ever get on there with a song outside of the top 40, right? We was 41, but because there was the barcode, they fucked up with the barcode and all that, so it should have had an higher chart position, but it never. So they invited us on there, and we've gone down there. They hated us, Teddy. You know what I mean?
Was this when they were doing it as live, or was this?
Well, it was never live, was it? I remember being there.
It went live later on, which I thought was a bad idea.
I don't know. When we was there, I remember Marillion being there. My biggest memory of that is them sound checking, cardboard hi-hats, fucking tuning his guitar and all that. I'm thinking, Fish, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You miming. So straight away they hated us, you know what I mean? Because we're just, it's fun to us, you know what I mean? What the fuck?
Bit of a big bloke though, wasn't he, Fish?
I know, but go and swim if you want to, but you know what I mean? You're miming. So we've gone on there and he said, right, right, okay. So I'm stood there with the mic and all that, you know what I mean? So punk in your head again.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do shit, I'm going to do shit properly. Do you know what I mean? That's how I was. Still am.
And what happened then, Top of the Pops?
Nothing.
And what do you mean, nothing?
Well, we done it and that was it.
And what went on though? What was it that you found weird about the whole experience?
The falseness of it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, you know what I mean? It's just like, I know it has to be done and it's part of this industry and I get that, but I struggle with that, you know what I mean? I do. I like to sit with people who care and matter and really mean it.
Yeah, well, but I mean the whole business is right.
I know that. I know that. So I do it because you have to do it because you're part of it if that's what you want to do. But I don't enjoy it, and I find it hard to do it if I'm honest.
Yeah, it kind of sticks in your craw. It doesn't feel right.
Well, it's not punk, is it? It's not. It's all like you have to do this. Well, I don't want to do that, but you have to do this. Okay, I'll have to do that. But I hate myself for doing it, and I hate you for asking me.
And what happened with in terms of Northside? You know, if you look at, there's almost become a cult of Manchester music worldwide now. You know, like guys in America who are mad. You know,
it's
mad
great
at Manchester bands.
People who still really care after all these years. You know what I mean? I find that fascinating and I love it. They're the people who matter to me.
But what I'm saying is, even now afterwards, so like something like "Shall We Take a Trip" is now a kind of a classic.
Yeah.
You know, and like you got because
how do you explain that?
You reissue Chicken Rhythms a few years ago on vinyl.
Yeah.
And all
that. It's come out on London Records and it was put out on yellow vinyl a few months ago, and the response was unbelievable, and it blows my mind. Still does. You get stories like people who message you go, I'm sat on a golf course in the middle of somewhere in Australia, tripping my tits off your song. That to me is pure connection. That's what it's all about. You know? No, seriously. I'm like, well, that's job done. You know what I mean?
I'd be worried about what was in the grass on an Australian golf course.
Why?
You know?
No, not at all. Not
all
at all.
The deadly things crawling around there. Spiders,
they're buzzing.
snakes.
They're sat there. They don't care about the snakes. Sack the snakes. There's snakes everywhere, as you all know. What I mean is, they're just sat there doing their thing.
Did you get to tour in places like the USA?
No, not Australia. I'd love to. We played America, New York, only with that from Manchester with Love Tour.
Yeah.
Delight. Oh, it's the Mondays and all that. That was ace.
Did they get it at all, the Americans? Did they actually
I'm not sure, you know. I'm not sure because I didn't really speak to anyone. I just remember it being a bowl a punch bowl in this venue, the Sound Factory, right? It's like years ago now, but it was just laced with E. Everyone in the club was off the napper, you know what I mean? And that was, but we done Tokyo, Japan and all that, and the people was ace, you know what I mean? That's my thing. The people who get it. I don't care. I'm not interested in all this fucking, everyone's got to know. Don't matter to me. The ones who need to know are the ones who matter. The ones who care.
Did you do much in Europe, Germany?
Yeah, we done Germany and all that. Same again. The people who was there loved it, and that's it for me.
I mean, as I said, it felt to me that when the reissue of Chicken Rhythms came out, it had a bit more. There was even more impact because now it's sort of.
This is what I'm saying.
You're not relying on some puppy git.
No, but it's the
and
people,
me giving you a good write.
But it doesn't care about what matters is it's 30 odd years old. We've not had a tune out for 30 odd years.
No.
And then people who are listening and loving it are doing it off their own back because they really care. No, they do. Or it won't happen, would it?
And they've got access to it now. They can listen. They don't have to go, take the risk of buying the CD first. They can listen to it first.
Yeah, well, whatever it takes, it's happened because they want it to happen.
And then the Ian Brown recent tour. I mean, we were chatting about this before. Like when Ian Brown did his tour, decided to do it without a band, and it was like people were absolutely howling about it. And what I thought was great about it was if he could piss people, get them all at it like that when he was like, was he knocking on 60 at that?
It must be. Well, yeah, but so what? It doesn't matter.
No, but
he's still the same head as when he was 18, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So everything he's doing, he's always done.
Because all the people who went at the gig loved it.
Yeah.
It's only the ones who didn't go, so he's not got a band.
But you're always going to get them. They don't really matter, do they? They don't really matter, do they?
So didn't you do that as well on that tour where it was just you, a guitarist?
And a singer, yeah.
Yeah. So how was that? How did you feel that, compared to days of like Northside?
That wasn't the case. It was Ian had invited me to do it, which was really nice of him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, of course I will. The band Northside wasn't ready to do it, or we wasn't doing it anyway at the time. So I was doing some solo stuff. I had a few songs written and stuff. And I got a kid who played guitar with us and a girl singer and we just went out there and went out to play. And that's what we did. And Ian was cool as fuck, you know what I mean? He knows the score.
Uh-huh.
He's
had he been a fan of Northside back in the day?
Who?
Ian.
I don't know. We were just friends you know what I mean? We kept in touch over the years. And he asked me to do it. He'd asked me a couple of times in the past, but for whatever reason, it wasn't right. And this time it was, so of course I wanted to do it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. And then I remember seeing you when there was the anniversary of Ricky Hatton thing at the Victoria Warehouse, but you didn't do Shall We Take a Trip? Yeah.
You remember more than me.
No, but I
remember doing it. I remember the gig. Did we not do it? No. I don't know.
I think you run out of time.
Probably got the plug.
Yeah, somebody must have overrun, and you were saving that till the last one. I thought,
possibly. We done the same thing at Shine. We went there a few years ago, and we had to go down there. We got invited to play there.
Oh, at Minehead Butlins.
Yeah, so it's like 7-hour drive, isn't it? So you set off. By the time you get there, you're ruined, aren't you? You're on the same bus, you've nothing to do. So we're all fucked by the time we get there. Gone on stage, they give us whatever. We didn't realise, so we started off with a few tunes that we hadn't put on the first album. And then they pulled the plug.
Oh yeah, you get like an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, we didn't have that long. We had 5. We didn't. It's not that we're stupid because we're not. We know the score, right? It's just that we feel how we feel at the time, right? And then the next minute, everyone's screaming and shouting, "You haven't done this, you haven't done that." I said, "No," because you know what I mean.
We'll come back tomorrow.
Well, you know what I mean. But people get really annoyed and bothered about things, and I'm thinking, listen, it's not that bad. Don't worry about it. Things will change.
Hey, listen, I went to see the Rolling Stones at Old Trafford, and I thought, never mind doing a 9-minute version of Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
You haven't done Beast of Burden.
Well, there you go.
I wanted to
Everybody wants to hear something that you don't want to do, aren't they? Well, you know what I mean.
Oh, it really bugged me.
Yeah, well, I like things when they don't do it as it's supposed to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I do. Do you know what I mean?
I know that Tim Booth out of James, he doesn't particularly like sit down.
Does he not?
No.
Oh, right.
But they're expected to do it, and the rest of the band go, come on, yeah, we should do it, you know. Well, everyone sings along and that.
It's not a personal thing. I don't mind when I go and see bands who I like. I think if you're a fan of the band, you're not that bothered about the singles, really.
Uh-huh.
I mean, of course you want to hear them, but if you are a true fan, you want to hear that 4th track on the second album, don't you, that no one else has heard? I do.
Well, fully enough, I went to see Mark Almond the other week at Bridgewater Hall. They're doing a really weird set of covers, you know, doing Charles Aznavour ones. And he did Syd Barrett, Terrapin.
Right.
Fantastic. And then he did Sebastian by Cockney Rebel.
Well,
you know what was fantastic about it? Because I thought, actually, where else will you ever hear these songs sung like
by
him? I don't know about Mark Almond.
No, by him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what's wrong with that?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It was like, wow, you know, these songs deserve to kind of be heard, really.
And not only that, I'm talking more, I get that, and that's great, but I was on more about your own songs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why has it always got to be the singles? Not wrong with that, but if I like a band, I like them because I like everything they've done, not just the singles. So I buzz, in fact. Say like SLF or something, like one of my favourite bands, probably my favourite band. Most people expect to hear Ulster, Suspect Device, I get that. Yeah. But if they knock something out on the second album, like or a B-side that no one's heard, I'm like, yes.
Bits of Kids.
Tune. Well, that's without Jim Riley on drums, but that's the best song on now then. But what I'm saying is, you want to hear that, don't you? You want to hear the difference. I do. If you're a true fan, that's what you want to hear, and that's what I'm like.
Although I suppose some bands, especially now when it's so expensive for like tickets, you get trapped into that because anyone who's done the dynamic pricing for Oasis.
Come on, are they real fans these days? What's going on? You know what I mean? With all that.
I mean, it's a bit like going to the football, isn't it? I mean, I'm there watching United.
I won't pay 50 quid. I won't pay more than 50 quid to see anyone.
Every time we get a corner, you've got all these people around you, you know, filming it on the phones and going, mate, when was the last time we scored from a corner?
And when they take a corner, I was saying this the other day, who takes the corner? Within the corner. You know, on the corner flag. Yeah. No one takes it inside.
Yeah, it's outside. Get that ball inside it.
Yeah.
You cheat.
Well, everyone's cheating, and that's what I'm on about. And it's like, do we really want that?
I mean, for you, because you were DJing, so you were out in Manchester as well quite a lot. How has it changed to you? You know, because for me, sometimes I wonder if Manchester's almost turning into some sort of theme park of itself.
What do you mean?
Well, like, everywhere's like really expensive now, and it's become too much of a brand in some way, hasn't it?
Well, I'm against all that, Terry.
Yeah, everything doesn't feel like it used to.
No, it doesn't, because I don't like all that, you know what I mean? All that palaver, circus, tackle, I get it, because that's what some people want, and they like all that. I don't, you know what I mean? It should be what it is, whatever that is.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it was always an exciting place, but it was almost like not a secret, but it was your private.
I like the secret.
You kind of knew it was cool. Yeah. Other people would kind of know certain things about Manchester that were cool, but we weren't right out there in the limelight.
You don't maybe
having a band go as big as Oasis did.
I'm not interested in all that.
You know what? That's what.
Here's Oasis, right? Good luck to them. 10 out of 10. They've done everything right. Good luck to them. Great songs and all that. Cool people. But I much prefer the story that I got told by someone of Marquis Smith in New York, right?
Yeah.
He's playing his own gig. Goes to the front of the crowd. You know what I mean? The queue.
Yeah.
Where are you going? You ain't going in here. He's got a plastic bag with 6 beers in that. Fuck you. I'm coming in here. I'm playing here tonight. Good night. Got him sacked. The bouncer who gave him grief. That's 10 times better to me than the biggest gig in the world. Do you know what I mean? It is.
I remember what Marquis Smith, because I used to come up and interview him every time the phone.
As an example is what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but I mean, this is great.
I've heard a million stories. He's been a naughty boy and all that, but so what? If he can do that, do you know what I mean?
Well,
what I'm trying to say
did
is,
it all the time.
What's more important?
Yeah.
To me, that's vital. I love that he just smashed the system in 1 second. He's being the system.
I mean, I was chatting to Elliot Rashman, you know, who looks after Simply Red, and he was chatting about Manchester bands in America and how much they mess themselves up. We found it quite amusing that they had. It's you know, even someone like Hucknall, didn't play the game enough in America, and yet you would have thought he was always, he would press the flesh and do
Well,
the
you
right
think,
thing.
don't you?
But he didn't throw over there.
Well,
Too many rules, almost.
Yeah, but Mick Hucknall gets loads of grief, and I don't know why, really.
Oh, yeah, well, I always
Do you know what I mean?
weird.
Because he's a great singer. What's the problem with people?
And also, he never jumped on any bandwagon.
No, he just did what he did.
He did what he liked.
Exactly.
Which is strange, and I think there was a lot of jealousy towards him. I have to say, which band from Manchester in the Madchester era sold the most records?
Simply Red.
Yes.
I ain't got a problem with him. I think he was great.
Yeah, I mean, but it is interesting that it's because almost like other people couldn't influence him or have a say over him.
You just said it. They don't like it because of that.
Yeah. He didn't need them.
Didn't need them.
And he never associated himself with any of the Manchester stuff purposely at that time.
He didn't need to.
Yeah, but I thought that was quite telling that he did that.
Yeah.
And you got other people, Simply Red.
Leave him alone, man. He's done all right. He knows the score. And he's a United fan.
Yes. I wonder what he's thinking. Maybe he should buy the club.
Yeah.
Off Ineos.
Yeah, why not?
Well, maybe not quite enough money now. Once upon a time, mate.
Well, you never know.
But I mean, for you, because you're still writing songs.
Yeah.
You're still doing stuff. So what is it? How will you carry on? What will you do now?
Well, when's this coming out?
Anytime.
Not before the next 2 weeks.
Do it when you want. No.
Only because we've got a tour coming out in end of March, April. Like 8 dates to test the waters. We've got a booking agent, everything behind it. People want it, so we're going to do it.
So this is as Northside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've obviously no Timmy because he's not here with us. We'd love him to be, but he's not. But people, like you said, love the band still. And I still love music and still want to do what we do. It always feels like unfinished business. Seriously. And it's like, I'm going to put that right, no matter what it takes. We got told that people thought we was fucking idiots and we wasn't, you know what I mean? We're just young kids who didn't get the help and the respect they needed at the right time. Not after, what I'm trying to say is, I can't wait to get out there again, you know what I mean? And we're going to do it.
Well, you sounded so good that night at the Ricky Hatton thing.
Really?
I thought, wow.
Nice one, thank you. I don't remember it. Well, I don't. I don't remember gigs individually, you know what I mean? I don't. Why would you, you know what I mean?
So you didn't do Shall We Take a Trip?
I know, but you just...
Are you doing Shall We Take a Trip on this tour?
Yeah, of course we are.
Just checking.
Yeah.
But again, it was,
I'm into doing what I'm doing, and the people who get it, they're my thing, you know what I mean? That's the truth. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about for me. So
are you just doing the UK? You're going to go
for now?
Europe wide?
We're going in, test the waters, you know what I mean? The year after is the 35 years since the album, right?
It's crazy to think
that's mad, isn't it?
And yet here you are, you're still only 28.
Only 12, mate. 35 years later, so that's when I'm going to start doing the other, But we just want to go in there and play. Just want to play. Really. It's just the same to me now as it was at the start. Really.
Fantastic. I mean, there's so much now with the festivals and all the rest of it.
We've got all that to come. That's for the album and all that. But we were going to play 200-300 capacities.
Well, I mean, you sell them out easily.
Well, hopefully, yeah. But you don't really know, do you, until you do it? I hope we do. I really do. And it seems like, people, from what I can see, really love them songs. And that means the world to me. And I'm happy for Cliff. I'm happy for Wall. They've been through hell, you know what I mean? Uh-huh. And they're still here. And we fucking, you know what I mean?
And also, in some ways, if you think about all the divisiveness in the world now, the great thing about the 90s was it had that inclusivity vibe, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was it was a feeling of...
The world's a sad place, isn't it? Let's be honest, you know what I mean? It's like, it's horrible. It's, if you think about it too much, you probably never leave the house. Or, I've had my own depression and shit, you know what I mean? I've had loads of problems. I've had so many deaths, one after the other, from our kid, from Robbo in 1990 when it all started. I was dealing with that, you know what I mean? At the same time the band started. And
that's a hard thing to envisage, because when you go through it, you realise that those things, it takes years. It takes you years to get over it. Well, not get over it, just to learn to live with it.
I don't think you ever do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you've just said, you just sort of find a way to deal with it somehow, by just... And then it always comes out, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, it just sort of knocks the legs from under you, and you think you can carry on, and yet
what I did was go on self-destruct.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've done. I did that after my dad died. Tried to avoid it when my mum died.
Yeah. But my mum died 6 months ago. My dad died 3 years ago. He's been held since then. You'll never. It's not for the microphone. You know what I mean? But like you've just said, we've dealt with it. We've all. I believe you that you have in your own way for years and years. It's been one after the other. You know what I mean? It's like, but we're still here because we mean it. It's like in a mad kind of way. We're here for a reason. We're still here. You know what I mean? Why are you still doing this?
Fuck no.
Because you get pure grief. But you believe it. Well,
I've been overlooked, I think.
No, but you do, don't you? You get pure grief. I see your Twitter thing and all that, and I'm laughing. I love Teddy because he don't give a fuck.
But I just like annoying people a bit. I think that's the 4th or 6th kids.
Fair enough.
I've always liked to.
Well, I do, but you do it publicly. I do it behind. I like doing it on one-on-ones. You know what I mean?
It's something I need to get on with
no, you
life.
Don't. Stay as you are. Don't ever change. No, stop it. Don't stop it.
I love winding them up.
So much.
It's the evil in me.
It's not evil. It's the fucking truth inside you that you can't help expressing.
Right, Dermo, brilliant to get you in. And we'll have to get you. I've got another thing I need you to come on as well.
What's that?
Well, I'll tell you about it in a bit. But
okay.
Listen, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, Teddy. Thank you.
My trigger.
I know, yeah, I forgot. Trigger finger.
See you later.